Hello, my name is Axel Scherer. I will give you a quick introduction into collectors in UVM. Collectors, the first thing you have to know is they are hooked up to a signal level interface, for example a bus interface of an RTL model, as illustrated here. Okay, so that's a part of the structure. What are they doing? They're actually detecting what's going on the interface, right? So what kind of signal level activity is happening and what that means. And the primary job of the collector is really to provide a conversion, right? To lift the abstraction level from the signal level to the transaction level, right? So let's look at a little example here. We see signal level activity at the bottom here is being converted up into the transaction level. While this conversion goes on, we can also collect coverage at the signal level and also perform checking at the signal level. And the transaction that gets detected here and abstracted get passed on for higher level consumption. Okay, so that's the primary job of the collector, to bridge this abstraction gap, right? To do basically up conversion. So in the context of a UVC, you can see this connection again, right? Here's how we bridge the abstraction gap, and then we pass on the transactions to the monitor for further processing. Let's look at some real example. We are looking at an APB bus system, and you can see on this waveform very quickly this transaction level versus signal level abstraction domain, right? In the top track here, we actually have a APB collector transaction that has been collected. In this case, it was a write transaction, as you can see, with some data and a certain address. Okay, but where was that generated from? Basically by analyzing all these signals, right? So the collector basically looks at all the signals associated with an interface and provides this conversion processing. You don't have to be familiar with APB, but this signal is basically indicating the read or write direction. If it's high, it's a write. And you can see that, right? The signal is high here, and the transaction that gets extracted is a write transaction. You can also see the data here is 8F, and that is being muxed in from the write bus, PW data, right? So you can see that it uses all these signals together to eventually abstract and extract this particular transaction. Okay, so that's what it does. Let's look at some code of how this is made happen. So the primary task where most of the work and heavy lifting is done, and where most of your code is this conversion process. So let's look at this. The task is APB collector here. And you can see our transaction, which is called transaction collected, has a bunch of fields. One of them is address and so forth. And that's directly coming from P address, from the signal level interface of the actual RTL model, right? And as I explained before, PRWD is the direction of the transfer, right? And we are now encoding this into APB reads or APB writes, and you saw that on the waveform as well. Once we have stored this information, we can determine in the next stage here, for example, which data we need to basically store in the transaction. Should it be the read data or should it be the write data, right? So we're muxing in the appropriate data, right? And so forth. And it basically collects all the information it needs to form a proper transaction of type APB. You can find more videos like this on either the YouTube channel or at support.cadence.com in the video library for the Incisive Simulator. Have a great day and talk to you soon.